Anyway, we're going to finish up talking about circles here, looking at semicircles. And a semicircle is just essentially going to be half of a circle. So it could be the upper half, lower half, right half, or left half, or we could do a kind of a different one. But a semicircle is just half a circle. So in this one, it wants to tell us what the equation is for the upper and the lower half, and then also we want to figure out what the right and the left half are. So for the upper and lower half, we are simply just going to solve for the equation of y, solve for y in the equation they give us. For the right and left half, we're going to solve for x. So to find the upper and lower half, I'm going to take this equation and solve it for y. So I start off, I'm going to subtract x squared from both sides. That's going to give me y squared equals 81 minus x squared. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the square root of both sides and get that y equals, and whenever I take the square root of both sides, I'm going to put plus or minus 81 minus x squared. So now when I look at this, I have two versions. I have the one version is going to be y equals the square root of 81 minus x squared. And the other version is going to be negative square root of 81 minus x squared. So now when I look at, I can hop over to Desmos, and I can type these in, and we're going to see which one's the upper half and which one's the lower half. So I'm going to type in y equals the square root of 81 minus x squared. And if I look here, this one is going to be clearly the top half of the circle. And now if I type in the negative version, what I would expect to see is that I am going to get the lower half of the circle, which is that one. And if I look at them both together, I get the entire circle. Remember, if we just type in the square root of something, our technology does not like to draft things that are functions. This is clearly not a function because it fails the vertical line test. What we can see here is that the positive square root is going to be the upper half of the circle, and that the negative square root is going to be the lower half of the circle. So now we can kind of go back over and we can look at the left and right half, and I think you can probably figure out which one's going to be the right half and the lower half when we solve for x. So in the same process now, we want to find the left and the right half, and as I said, we're going to do that by solving the same exact equation for x now. So I'm going to start off by subtracting y squared from both sides, and I get x squared equals 81 minus y squared. And I'm going to take the square root of both sides again to get x by itself. And when I do that, I get plus or minus the square root of 81 minus y squared. So again, I get two equations here. I get the square root of 81 minus y squared, and I get negative the square root of 81 minus y squared. So the last thing you do is you can hop over to Desmos again and see which one is going to be the left half and the right side, but I'm sure you can figure out, based on what we saw with the upper and lower half, which one's going to be which. But I still think it's worthwhile to see what it looks like on Desmos. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to start by copying and pasting the equation over, right? Except now that this is going to be x, and this is going to be y, not 7. That's going to be y. So we can see the positive version is going to give us the right half of the circle, as we would expect. The negative version is going to give us the left half of the circle. Together, again, that gives us the entire circle, but positive version is the right half because that's where our positive x's are. Negative version is going to be left because that's where our negative x's are. Okay, so positive square root was the right, negative square root was going to be the left. Move on to the next video, and we're going to spend a little bit of time on Desmos talking about how can we find intersection points.